I would like to note that the interpreter for this evening is Ashley Arcienega. Please raise your hand, Ashley. She's in the back. So if you need a listening device or interpretation services, she's there. Antes de llamar a la Junta Orden, me gustaría notar que contamos con los servicios de interpretación para esta Junta. Y la señora La Cienega está sentada atrás. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of November 4th, 2025. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Here.
Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Soto.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Here.
And Mayor Patino.
Here. City Attorney, Mr. Watson, would you give us the closed session report?
Yes, Madam Mayor. With respect to items 3A and 3B, information was provided to council. No reportable items were taken.
Thank you. Our next item is a special presentation. We're honored to accept a generous donation from Mr. Dan J. Hoback, a beautifully crafted model of his original Santa Maria ship. And here on his behalf is his daughter, Rhonda White.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and city staff. I am Rhonda White. I'm here on behalf of my father, Dan J. Hoback, to present the donation of the model ship, the Santa Maria. He's probably watching this evening on the broadcast tonight on Channel 23, so hello, Dad. Mr. Hoback is a native Santa Marian, lifelong resident and community member. He spent many years making this model art piece and wishes to donate it to the city of Santa Maria for display. This presentation provides the creative process behind Mr. Hoback's model artwork of the Santa Maria ship. The origin of the vessel and its role in maritime exploration gives the context for his artwork, as well as sharing the city of Santa Maria's name, but not actually being named after the ship itself. Mr. Hoback has combined historical themes of the Santa Maria ship and his creative reinterpretation for this art piece. He had worked on several maritime ship models in the past that each honed his modeling, craftsmanship, and furthered his knowledge of maritime history. Mr. Hoback began the model in November of 2013, and it took him a little more than 3 years to complete. He collected historical documents, illustrations, and maritime studies to create the model design, including blueprints from C. Memoli SAS of Milan, Italy. Due to the gaps in historical records, some aspects required careful interpretation and creative hypothesis. Fun fact about these blueprints, the blueprints received from C. Memoli were written entirely in Italian, requiring him to interpret the renderings from visual depictions on the plans or other historical illustrations and information he received. Another fun fact is that he used an electric turkey cooker to boil planking pieces so they could be bent and then dried in a makeshift jig that he designed using nails driven into plywood, work table, forcing a curve that matched the contour of the hull. And that's the upper right-hand corner jig that he created. The chains were fashioned from wire using a jig he created to bend and link each chain link piece. Mr. Hoback even fashioned his own eye bolts, heating, threading, bending, and drilling the eye bolts. 19 in total were made by hand. His sister and local artist, Marilyn Hoback Kronk, also assisted my father with this project by designing and painting the artwork on the sails. She intentionally made it appear faded as to represent the probable conditions of the sails after 2 months at sea in the tropical sun. Mr. Hoback used a copper tubing collar, forging it around a nail for the mandrel. He then torched it to achieve the bronze patina and then varnished it to preserve the finish. This is for the cannon feature. The ship's bell was also made of using the remainder of the copper tubing. The coat of arms and shields were used by a decoupaging treatment. Finally, in a display of artistry and attention to historical detail, Mr. Hoback meticulously whittled each crew member for this model of the Santa Maria, drawing inspiration from a vignette titled Sunrise on the Morning of October 12, 1492. He sought to capture the very essence of that pivotal moment in maritime history. He carved each figurine from red oak and painted them to portray the emotions felt aboard the ship and the crew's excitement after 36 days of venturing into the unknown, capturing the hope and significance of that historic moment. Mr. Hoback's work aims to spark curiosity in the world of model making and appreciation of maritime history and traditional craftsmanship. He also wants to encourage individuals to explore the intricate details of historical ships and the skills required to recreate them, while balancing historical accuracy and expressing their own artistic vision. On behalf of my father, Dan Hoback, I would like to thank the City Council and city staff for receiving this donation and for the visibility this work of art will receive. He is grateful to provide this piece to the city he loves and was born and raised. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the council?
Madam Mayor?
Yeah, Mr. Escobedo?
Thank you. You know, one of my passions when I'm not sitting here is building Legos. And this work is like overall, the craftsmanship is just great. So thank you for the donation and great job on putting all this work and now donating to the city of Santa Maria.
Thank you.
Rhonda, can we have a copy of what you read tonight?
Absolutely.
So that we can have that attached to this?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Dan, if you're listening. Hopefully you're listening. Thank you very much.
I'm sure he is.
Okay. And he was the manager of the airport district for how many years?
Over 10.
Okay, and then didn't he sit on the board?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
And he
yes,
sat
he
on the
did.
airport district board.
And he was also a member of the Breakfast Santa Maria Rotary Club.
The Rotary?
For many, many, many years
Yeah.
as well, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here, Rhonda. And Rhonda used to sit right here in front of me.
Hi, everybody. You only
And-
saw
and
the back
keep
of my
me-
head most of the time.
And keep me in line, yeah. Thank you. And thank you so much for doing this and bringing this here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hate to just keep it in the case there. I just think maybe we need to bring it out for every council meeting, because it certainly is a work of art.
Thank you.
Certainly is. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We will now consider the recommendation to name a city facility in honor of James Jim Glines. Alex Posada, Director of Recreation and Parks, will present this item.
Forgot to push the button. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for letting me bring this item back to you. A few months back, we brought a proposal to look at naming a facility in Jim Glines' honor. That suggestion came from members of the community as well as his family. For those people that don't know, Jim was an active member of many organizations in town. He was founder, or one of the co-founders of the Community Bank of Santa Maria, majorly involved with Hancock College and their rodeo program. you still see them on the commercials, and I love to see those commercials when they come out now. And it's all about a handshake in his mind. And so I'm happy to bring this forward. After some discussions with Janet Silveria, the current president of Community Bank, and some of the discussions she had with friends and family members, the suggestion was that the area in front of Community Bank on Miller Street, and if I can get that slide up, please. It's the area between Community Bank and the medical offices to the south. It's roughly a block long. There's a median there. And the suggestion is that the council ceremonially name that Jim Glines Way. The area, I mean, is right in front of the bank. It's easily identifiable. We will be doing some work in the median to prepare it if the council approves this, to accept the street sign. And if we could switch to the next slide. Look something like this. We're not exactly sure how the final product will be, but we will post it in the middle of the median there, and recognize Jim for all the things that he's done for the community for a number of years. His customers will see it as they come out. Their staff members at the bank will see it as they come out, and just remember his legacy to the community, which was to support groups, auctions, barbecues, anything that was out there, he would be engaged with. So I'm happy to bring that item to you and open for any questions or discussion.
Any questions? Any
Just
questions?
comments.
No.
Comments.
Did you want to make a comment?
I actually met him, but it was after meeting Taylor. By the way, when I remember, this was the first time I was aware of there was a Elks rodeo thing going on. I saw this lady with a hat, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I started getting to know more of his family, John here, and then I met him with that voice that, I mean, if you think my voice is strong, his is like, okay, this is a guy that, but he didn't earn his respect by the voice. He earned his respect by doing what he said he was gonna do. And I sat down with him many times to talk about several things, politics, life. He was always willing to share. And that's something that I was taught, that it's just, there's no price for it. When somebody has the openness to share those experiences, it just, he was a mentor for me and somebody I look up a lot. And when I found out that what happened, I just took a moment, and I remember our last conversation we had, it was at his bank, of course. And we were just talking about politics. Like, you know what, Carlos, this is bullshit. Sorry for everybody watching us, but that was his way. Like, this is bullshit. And say, you know what, I agree with you. And but it's just that was his way of doing things. He was not a guy that would tell you what you want to hear. He was just telling you what he thinks it is, and you don't have that a lot now. And especially in politics, everything has to be so politically correct. He was one of those persons that keeps you in check, but also somebody you can believe that he said he was going to do something, he'll do it. So if there's no other comments, I would like to make a motion. There are comments?
Yeah. I have one request to speak from Lupe Alvarez. Was the mayor of Guadalupe for years.
Thank you. A few years back. Madam Mayor, council members, thank you for having me. I am on the board for Community Bank of Santa Maria for about 7 years now. Jim was not only the face of Community Bank, along with Bill Harris, but I believe he was the face of every auction that he participated in. He brought in so much money for every organization. He did it selfishly. He did it for the good of the community. I wish that there was a tally of how much money he's raised for the community, because that alone That shows you the heart that he had for the community. He was loyal to Santa Maria, and Santa Maria was loyal to him. But I don't think that this is enough, in my opinion. I think we should have an annual Jim Glines month, and that's up to the city council, because he was Mr. Santa Maria, and when there was a rodeo, he did barbecues, he did promotion, and that voice sold Santa Maria over and over and over. So I hope you consider Mr. Santa Maria Jim Glines.
Thank you.
I agree. I want to say that
Go ahead.
I'm super thankful for all the work he did. He did raise so much money. We'd get to a nonprofit event, and people were not in a giving mood at times, and he got them to give. He got them to, provide money for all the organizations that are so needed in our community. And so I'm really thankful for all the work he did. There's really no amount of, words that can describe him. He had a huge personality. He would fill a room when he walked in. You knew when he got there. It was just great. And I think he was Mr. Santa Maria. That should have been his tag name, I think. Thank you.
Well, we have horses, and I know times we would go up to Paso, maybe to see the cutting or whoever we were watching, one of my grandkids, and Jim was there, and he loved cutting, and Jim was a cutter. It's really a privilege, I think, to be able to say we can do something for him in the city, because he's done so much for us, and really he's done so much for the youth. But everyone, he wouldn't say no to anyone. He'll just figure out how we're going to raise the money to make it happen, and he made it happen. And not many people I know step up to do that. And you know that, John and Taylor, and thank you for being here, and Kathy and Annie, his sister. So did you want to do a motion?
It would be a privilege and honor to make the motion. So, no, I'll
second.
do it. I'll do it all the way. I would like to make the motion to recommend to name the city facility of a park honoring James G. Glines. In this case, it's going to be James Jim D. Glines Way, in memory of a community banker, actioner extraordinaire, but first of all, friend.
I second.
I have a motion and a couple of seconds. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
And Mayor Patino.
Aye. The only concern I have is when I drive around Santa Maria, I see signs that are in the median and they've been run over. And I certainly don't want that to happen to this. So,
We're sure there's two big trees on either side of it.
okay. And maybe we ought to assign Danny Rios to make sure that that they patrol that. Yes. And give tickets there, right there. Tell them that's a no-fly zone, right?
That's
No drive zone.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here this evening.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The next item is a presentation on homelessness and the ongoing efforts related to encampment response, to be presented by Assistant City Manager Chun Wu. Good evening, Mr. Wu.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This is another update on homelessness and encampment response. We also have Sergeant Felix Diaz from PD and Sergeant Ruben Ramirez from the Rangers to provide more information. I'll start first with the point in time count, and this is a count that took place in January of this year, and the count reports 459 individuals experiencing homelessness in Santa Maria, with 243 reported as sheltered, 160 unsheltered, and 56 living in vehicles. This is comparable to the count in 2024. It's actually a little bit higher, but there are more, the count reported more living in shelters and fewer living in vehicles. So the living vehicles, it went down from 97 to 56, and those living in shelters increased from 189 to 243. So even though the numbers is about 400, at least there's a large percent of that being in a shelter and fewer living in cars. Now, again, this is just a snapshot. It's a snapshot.
Sorry, Sean,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. Could you please repeat the numbers on the overall, and then how many are there in this shelter?
Sure. For 2025, it's 459.
459.
And of the 459, it's 243 in the shelters, 160 unsheltered, 56 in vehicles.
Thank you.
And again, this is a snapshot. You know, it's one night in January, and so you know they're not hard numbers. We know these situations. People enter into homelessness. People exit out of homelessness. And as you know, last summer there was a significant cleanup in the riverbed, and Santa Barbara County, they have staff that keeps track of the outcomes of. Now, for SURF 2, that's the California Encampment Resolution Fund, which is money from the state directed towards addressing encampments in the riverbed. The county reported 319 individuals enrolling in services, 66 being placed in housing, and 205 entering shelters. Now, these are numbers for all the waterways in the county, but we know that the majority of those efforts include the Santa Maria Riverbed. Now, the riverbed remains mostly clear, but we are seeing encampments east of the 101, and in particular, past east of what we call the Yoshida line. And Ruben informed me about what the Yoshida line is, and he'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's a street, Yoshida is a street that runs north-south. It's east of the vacant Romer property, but it's not quite, but it's just a couple streets past the Romer property. So if you go past the Yoshida line, that's within San Luis Obispo County. And so we're seeing those camps in that area. Now, we are still coordinating with Santa Barbara County and San Luis Obispo County on the monitoring and enforcement of encampments in the riverbed. And there's been an MOU that's been circulated for a while, and there's just some final edits that need to be made. But Santa Barbara County has committed to contributing 50% of the cost of the rangers monitoring the riverbed. We don't have that with San Luis Obispo County. And we were trying to make sure that the MOU was between 3 jurisdictions, but at the moment it's 2 jurisdictions. I'll now turn the time over to, I guess we can start with Ruben and then Felix, who can provide additional information on homelessness and encampments.
And Sean, before question, you mentioned that Santa Barbara County and Santa Maria right now have signed already the agreement on what it would be expected from, or what it would be the goal to partner with the San Luis Obispo County.
The MOU essentially has our rangers monitoring the riverbed, and with the county contributing half the cost. Now, the enforcement efforts, that's still kind of a coordination between rangers and county sheriffs, but it primarily addresses the funding of the monitoring.
The monitor, okay. Mm-hmm. But the enforcement, I mean, at the end of being, I'm talking a little bit from the northwest of Santa Maria and the west side. It's San Luis Obispo County, basically, once you get out from the river levee. That it's basically kind of like the job of the enforcement portion would be the sheriff from San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, I'll let Ruben kind of get into the details.
Okay.
Yeah, so the riverbed looks pretty good west of the 101 bridge, east of the 101 bridge up to the Yoshida line. The challenge that we do have in those areas is it is San Luis Obispo County, so we can't enforce the municipal code, or we can't even make an arrest or issue a citation due to jurisdictional boundaries. If we do go further east at Yoshida, it's in between Yoshida and Magellan along Seaward. I believe we counted 27 encampments. And the unfortunate thing about the unhoused that are in this area is they do not want to take any of our help, and it's more of a way of life for them. We did make a visit out there with Councilwoman Flores and Mr. Wu, and they got to see firsthand, there's people out there that make money by taking water from the Presker Park and they sell it to other individuals. There's a lot of large structures out there. To get a cleanup crew, it's very hard because it's not the city of Santa Maria's property, or it's not even the county of Santa Barbara. The unfortunate thing is, once we step off the levee about 25 yards into the riverbed itself, that's when we reach the San Luis Obispo County jurisdiction. And the challenge that we get presented with is a lack of response. So we can get the assistance from the police department, and Lieutenant Diaz will touch up on that, but we still run into the jurisdictional boundary to issue citations for shopping carts or even arresting out there. What we do need is the help from the San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office to assist us with the enforcement portion. If we could get that assistance, then I think we'd have a pretty good hold on the riverbed, and it'd be a lot better. On the bright side, from the riverbed in the city of Santa Maria, the parks that we have seen a decrease in homeless activity inside of the parks. We still are finding it inside the district areas, and I believe Lieutenant Diaz will be able to touch a little bit more on what his people are encountering. Do you guys have any questions as far as the riverbed portion for our part?
Any questions from the council?
I just want to
Mrs.
make
Flores?
a comment. I did go out with the park rangers, Ruben Ramirez and Eddie Estrada, and I was quite impressed. I went out on the beast with them. They took me to all the places that they have out there and showed me the boundaries of up to where they can go, and the conflict they have of trying to get help because it's in San Luis Obispo. But I was quite impressed with the work that you both do, the way you showed the men and women out there compassion. I was quite impressed because I told you my story about my father-in-law and how he was homeless at one time. And I said, we don't know anybody's story, so we don't know why they're there. But I was quite impressed with the work that both of you do. You knew them on a first name basis. You got off. We were able to get out and speak to them, and we were able to share with them resources, and I wanted them to know that there's resources for them available if they want to ever get off the riverbed. So I was quite impressed. I just want to tell you thank you so much for your hard work that you guys are doing out there, and we appreciate it from the city.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've been with the Rangers for 7 years, and a lot of our officers have been here for, either 19 or 10 plus years. Just like she said, we've been able to establish a pretty good rapport. And as funny as it sounds, a lot of these individuals know about our families. They know how many kids we have and, what our hobbies are. But the one thing I want to touch on is we do give the most respect to the individuals, regardless if they are on hard times or good times. We do try our best to get these folks the help. It is disappointing that they're not taking the assistance that we provide them, but I mean, if we could keep on trying for another year or another two to try to at least get a couple off, it'd be a really big success. But we'll continue to do our best out there. And I just wanted to reaffirm that we continue to patrol out there 2 times a day, up to 1 hour each. We scatter the patrol times so that way the morning walkers get some visibility, afternoon. Some of the things we also do just so that the public knows that we're going out there is we park our big ATV trailer out in the residential areas. So that way they know we're here, and we access all the walking gates. And, we just try to do as much as we can out there.
Thank you.
So on the PD side, we're continuing basically enforcement on the streets. Whenever a citizen lodges a complaint through Neighborhood Connect, through dispatch, through officers, through city officials, other officers, we'll flag where the location is, send the beat coordinators out or patrol officers, and they mark the location, officer resources to the individuals. If they're willing to take resources, they'll take the resources. If not, then we start the enforcement side of things, and that's when we start kind of breaking down large encampments. Within the city right now, we're pretty well in terms of no big, large encampments, and we're trying to stay on top of that. We are seeing a lot more transients in the sense that they're our house, but they're kind of loitering throughout the day. We've come across some instances where some business or people are contributing to kind of the problem, and we're kind of just educating them, hey, you can help the problem, but you need to do X, Y, and Z to minimize the impact on the community. So like I said, on our side, we're still working well with the contracted cleanup crew to do these cleanups throughout the city on a weekly basis.
Any questions from the council?
No questions, Madam Mayor, but just some comments, if I
Sure.
may, if that's appropriate. I do want to thank city staff who have been working with our homeless population out at the riverbed, and also for the efforts of trying to find resources outside of the city to provide housing for folks. Madam Mayor, as you know, I do sit on the elected leaders forum to address housing and homelessness, and there was a meeting on Friday, October 17th, and Mr. Wu, thank you so much for giving us some numbers, but if I may, there are some additional stats that I think would be important for this council to know, just so that we are prepared for what may be coming before us. I know it was shared with us that some stats on vehicular homelessness, but according to the county right now, we are seeing an uptick in homelessness when it comes to folks living in their cars. Comparing from last year, 2024, where there were about 710 individuals who were living out of their cars. This year, there's about 962. This is countywide. And there are also concerns around impacts pertaining to some executive orders that have been that are in the pipeline right now. One in particular is around the emergency housing vouchers, where the vast majority of those are currently helping children in the county of Santa Barbara. I would say the majority of those who are receiving services through these emergency housing vouchers are children. And at this point in time, my understanding is that Congress has only funded through December 2026 for these emergency housing vouchers. And so what that could mean for us is that we could see families returning to homelessness by 2027 if we don't see that funding reinstated. And there's definitely a big conversation within this group about what can we do to have these conversations with our federal elected leaders to protect housing. And then, of course, they also talked about how mixed status families may also be a target, as we already know from this administration, but when it comes to housing in particular, where U.S.-born children living with one or more undocumented parents may be in danger of losing, how benefits to help cover their housing. And so, these are imminent threats that are very real, where we have many families here in Santa Barbara whose futures really hang in the balance when it comes to housing. And so, I appreciate the efforts that we are making right now to address what we're seeing right in front of us out in the riverbed, but we need to do more. And I know that is something that we keep iterating, but we definitely need to start having very real conversations about how this administration is really impacting so much, but in this case, since we're talking about housing as well. And it was interesting for me to hear about how water that's being collected at Prisker Park, if that's what I understood, is being sold by the folks who are living in the riverbed. And, I had a conversation with someone a few months ago where, something that came to mind was if there's a way in which, in the meantime, while folks are living unsheltered, if there's anything that we can do to offer them services where that are humane, rather than just going and asking them to leave or remove their belongings. And one thing that came to mind was like, what about the thought of, I don't know if we have potable water out there. Is that something that we could do? I don't know. I'm throwing out ideas. I know this is probably not the direction in which we thought my comments were going to lead into, but I just felt the need to really voice and share with you what I've learned from recent conversations with other electeds in the county of Santa Barbara when it pertains to housing, but also offer some suggestions and ideas for us to think outside of the box as to how we can help those who may not be receiving services and are living out in the riverbed or who are currently unhoused. And so I welcome that dialogue with my council and my colleagues here and city staff.
Does
Thank
staff have any feedback on the comments of Councilmember Soto in terms of the resources and the services we're providing?
Yeah, prior to any sort of enforcement action, we are offering services. We work with Good Sam, mental health, and if the services are there and they're willing to take them, we connect them right away. A lot of times, unfortunately, they're not willing to take those services, take us up on those services, and that's when enforcement action begins, usually on our part, and again, with the time period as well in terms of you have so many days of vacate. But again, the services are always being rendered to them, and the decision is up to them whether they take them or not at that point.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions from the council?
I have a comment. I have gotten feedback from the public as to the work that you guys have been doing out there. I do get emails and calls regarding the encampments, but the feedback I've gotten is that it's gotten better, that you guys are out there doing a good job. And so I just want to thank and reiterate what the public is telling me, the constituents are telling me. So thank you again for all the work you guys are doing. And I'm glad that we're offering services to the people who are willing to accept them. So thank you again.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Escobar.
Ruben, I recall having a ride-along. It was a couple of years ago, and doing the trip to the River Levy, and it was not as it is today. And particularly these couple of, maybe 2 years or so, all the changes that have been going on down there, and from the last year's chaos and drama, I recall being there when you guys were, with the counties and were serving the 48 notice. It was 48 or 72 hours notice. By the way, everybody, you need to request beforehand you want to move encampment, 72-hour notice, and if they can decide not to do it or to do it. But that's why sometimes it takes time to go through the process. But I agree. It's you guys do it in a professional way. Yeah, I know that everybody who's watching us would love to get that issue gone. But it's very complex. There's no a magic stick or something that can say we're gonna solve it. I mean, no local jurisdiction, no county, no the state, no federal government. Nobody has been able to solve it, but we can always stay still. And you guys have been working really hard, sometimes risking your own lives, and that's appreciated. And thank you for always when I call you guys, especially last year, I was like, we need to get that done, because it was it was just going out of control. You guys did a great job, and you always have me in District 1. I'm pretty sure that the whole council support to keep doing your job. Thank you.
Mr. Wu, I guess we obviously need cooperation from San Luis Obispo County. So can we direct a letter from our office to be sent requesting financial help, because 50% of the cost is being borne by Santa Barbara County, but these people are living in San Luis Obispo County that do impact our city. So could we direct a letter, and then I personally will go to the Board of Supervisors and request help and money from them. I had a conversation with Mr. Paulding. It was right before or right during when we were doing the massive cleanup there. And he thought at the time that was a good idea. So I have no problem going to the Board of Supervisors again and saying, we really need your help. This is not just for Santa Maria to do.
Yes, we can prepare something.
I do have a question.
Yes, yes.
I do have a question for Mr. Wu. I know that San Luis Obispo County representative for their homeless program came to our meeting, and then I believe a month or 2 months later, they came during the update. Was there continuous meetings after that, or what has occurred after that meeting in terms of engaging San Luis Obispo County?
You know, city staff's communication is primarily with Santa Barbara County. We've had some meetings in the past where it's all 3 jurisdictions, but Santa Barbara County, they've kind of been the liaison between ourselves and San Luis Obispo County. But more direct engagement would help, and so we'll do that.
And I know that, I can't thank Santa Barbara County supervisors enough, because I don't think people realize the money comes from the state to the county. It does not come to us at the city. And so they give us the direction on how they want it spent. So I really want to thank the supervisors of Santa Barbara County for making sure that that money was spent. And I think it's had a great impact, because I've had people tell me that live along there that they felt it was unsafe to even go walking on the levee. So any other comments?
Can attest.
Yeah, I also want to note that the city is also spending from our budget dollars to contribute to this, which is why I would be interested in you reaching out to San Luis Obispo County and asking them to come to another council meeting where we can talk about the costs and splitting the costs with San Luis Obispo County. So if you can let us know and follow up with us on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I do have another question. I know that today's presentation was to give us an update overall on homelessness and the ongoing efforts for encampment response. And I know that you have been, you and members of your team have been attending these meetings, the one that I mentioned earlier, the one that took place on October 17th. And so I'm just really curious as to if the council is going to see any, or if city staff is being proactive in any way given the changes that are being foreseen.
Councilmember Soto, our work has primarily been on the enforcement side, and on the resources side, we work with the county and we work with the nonprofits. We currently do not have housing staff per se that focuses primarily on the items that you're talking about, but we partner with the county on these topics. And so, until there's other direction, our focus is keeping our community safe, and we do direct those that we engage with to the resources that are available. In the last presentation, the meeting that you mentioned, there was mention of federal policies that may have local impacts. And, at this point, again, our staff remains focused on keeping our community safe, our neighborhood safe, and making sure that those that are experiencing homelessness continue to have are referred to the resource providers. So that remains our efforts, that remains our focus. On the housing side, I know our community development team, we've built we've seen a lot of housing production within the city. And so I would say we're doing our part and make sure that there's good housing supply, including affordable housing. And so as individuals are referred to housing, we make sure that the housing inventory remains available. But recognizing that there are ongoing challenges, current challenges with state and federal policies, there's recognition of that.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'm deeply worried that our local governments are not going to be prepared for the influx that we may see in the next 2-3 years, because people are in very real risk of losing housing assistance. And so I definitely encourage us as a council to continue those conversations as to how we can be proactive in preventing homelessness. And I definitely welcome also recommendations from city staff on, or perhaps, further information as to how those impacts may directly, what those impacts may look like here in the city of Santa Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff? Okay. Thank you very much, Officer Diaz, and thank you very much, Ruben. And thank you, Mr. Wu. The next item will be a presentation of businesses of the quarter to be given by the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for having me.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Tonight, in partnership with the City of Santa Maria and the Chamber of Commerce, we're here to recognize two great businesses of our community. First, I'd like to have Jorge Chavez from La Tradicional Ice Cream Shop come up. They were founded in 2008. This family-owned shop has become a beloved Santa Maria tradition, serving authentic Mexican ice cream and snacks made from scratch with passion and care. For over 40 years, the family has experienced, has expertise behind every scoop. They have expanded their reach from this original shop to events, catering, and even a new location in Vandenberg Space Force Base. Beyond great flavor, Jorge and Jose Chavez have built a business rooted in community, supporting youth programs, partnering with nonprofits, and inspiring future generations. Their resilience, faith, and commitment to service make them a true example of Santa Maria's entrepreneurial experience. Please join me in congratulating Jorge and his team, a business that truly makes life a little sweeter for all of us.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and everyone. Unfortunately, my dad can be here to share this moment with me, but I have my family, my son, my daughter, and I want to thank for this honor, and it means a lot for us. And well, thank you so much.
If you have not been to Mr. Chavez's ice cream store, it is on what is the address? It's in La Jolla La Jolla Center on West Main.
West Main and Blossom, right behind El
It's
Toro.
1131 West Main. and they have every kind of flavor you can absolutely think of. So, and it's a real treat. And and I've had several flavors, but they really, really taste like the real thing. So it's all hand done. And thank you very much.
Muchas felicidades.
Thank you so much. Now I'd like to welcome up Ken Dewar and his team. Come on up. It's an honor to recognize J.B. Dewar as a Business of the Quarter. Since 1933, this fourth-generation family-run business has been fueling the Central Coast, literally and figuratively. From one small station to regional leader serving agriculture, construction, and transportation industries, J.B. Dewar has built a reputation on trust, service, and innovation. They lead the way with renewable diesel, clean energy solutions, and technical expertise that help our local economy run strong. But what truly sets them apart is their heart for the community, investing in youth through their tractor restoration education program, scholarships, and support for 4-H, FFA, and Cal Poly students. For over 90 years, they've proven that progress and purpose can be hand in hand. Please join me in celebrating J.B. Dewar.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a man of very few words when you get to know me, so I won't be here long. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. Thank you for this. Thank you for this honor. Just a little background, as Mr. Boyers presented, we started in Santa Maria in 1933 at the southwest corner of Main and Blosser. Mr. Deanne and my grandfather were best friends, so we have a little cultural history here. I could tell you lots of stories growing up, being around Mr. Deanne and my grandfather. The best one is if you were invited to coffee at 8 o'clock and you showed up at 8:05, you never got a second invitation. Punctuality was very important to my grandfather and Mr. Deanne. As indicated, I'm third generation. My daughter, Morgan Voss, is fourth generation, and this is our 92nd year. We'll be back when it's our 100th to see you. And I want to thank you again for this honor. It's been a pleasure.
I know that when I've gone to youth functions and particularly FFA functions, your name is always there as supporting and contributing to our youth. So we really appreciate that because our youth is so important in our community. But thank you very much. So the next item is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, will you please read the criteria?
Yes. Speakers may provide public comments on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum 15 minutes for public comment period. Unless the majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof, pursuant to Government Code 549-54282, the Ralph M. Brown Act. No action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Thank you. I have 2 speaker slips. I have one for Guinevere Cannon, followed by Gary Hall. Good evening, Mrs. Cannon.
Heard you guys speaking about the homeless. One of my concerns is that I heard one of the officers talk about San Luis Obispo County, and then we have Santa Barbara County, and San Luis Obispo won't do their part. My concern here in California is that it sounds like there's a lot of division between police officer, the sheriff, ICE. You got all these compartments. and it seemed like no one wants to work together. As a citizen, that concerns me because my perspective on crime is that if I call 911, it doesn't matter to me if the sheriff comes, ICE comes, highway patrol, and I know there's jurisdiction, but I think that there needs to be some coming together of law enforcement because there's a lot of, we don't do this because of this law, we don't do this because of this law. I think that law enforcement in general needs to be just looking at the general public. Need to be looking at, okay, so here's a criminal. And if that criminal needs to be arrested, arrest the criminal. And there's too much, what I'm hearing is that we got to be nice. I don't, really, the word nice, what the opposite of that word is, it's not nice, we got to love. And part of that is this. If you love someone, you want to lead them in the right direction. If that means putting them in jail, that's the direction they need to go at that moment. Not that they need to go to jail, be let out of jail, repeat. And I see that a lot here. I read the police log. And, it is not about race, about what color you are. It's about, are you doing a crime? And if you're doing a crime, you need to be arrested. If I'm black and if I do a crime, I'm expecting them to arrest me. Not to say, well, I better not do that because they might say this, they may call me racist. I think that America is done with the racist part. We got to get back to honor, dignity. And that honor, dignity lies in, we have a police force that needs to do their job. We have ICE, and you just hear it constantly, abolish ICE, just incredible, obnoxious words about a organization that is just trying to do their job. So if they want to abolish ICE, the second thing I want to do is just let's abolish the police department. Let's just get rid of everyone that's going to protect the public. And I'm hoping that the city council and, I won't say the governor, because I know where he's at, we need to be looking at certificate in our county, in our city. Yes, there is a homeless problem. The problem with some of the homeless is this: if they do not want to receive help, they're not going to receive help. So the other issue is that that person that's out on the street with their children. What about the little children? Something needs to happen with the little children because they're the ones that's going to grow up thinking this is normal. That is not normal.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Cannon. Appreciate your comments.
Is my 3 minutes up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Gary Hall. Good evening, Mr. Hall.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and the citizens of Santa Maria. My name is Gary Hall. I'm a resident of Rancho Buena Vista Mobile Estates at 2135 North Railroad Avenue here in Santa Maria. I represent the North Santa Barbara County Manufactured Homeowners Team, or NSBIT. Our primary goal remains to provide protection to all Santa Maria mobile home residents presently living in an unregulated rental market. The 2020 Model Lease and Enforcement Agreement, with all their flaws, have proven to be ineffective in maintaining affordable mobile home housing, which is, of course, what it was originally intended to do. It should be of no surprise to any of you, according to the Californians and their government survey that was conducted in October by the Public Policy Institute of California, that a key finding was, and I'll quote, Californians choose the cost of living, the economy, or inflation and housing cost and availability as the most important issues facing the state. That's true, of course, for the state and equally true for the mobile home residents of Santa Maria, and especially seniors on fixed income. Santa Maria needs an honest-to-goodness mobile home rent stabilization program similar to those in area cities like Lompoc or Morro Bay or Pismo Beach or even Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo. A program that protects the mobile home residents by maintaining affordability and still providing the park owner with a fair return. Santa Maria also needs to prevent senior mobile home parks from being converted to all-age parks. I know that this is being researched by Santa Maria Community Development Department personnel, and I remain hopeful that a new or revised ordinance will soon be introduced like what was used by Santa Barbara County. I know that you've heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again. It's time, no, it's past time, to add both mobile home rent stabilization and senior mobile home park conversion prevention to a near-term future meetings agenda. So please act soon. Why wait? We do need your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. We'll now move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion? Do I have a motion?
Move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Tim Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
Mayor Patino.
Aye. So the next, okay, we're going to go on to the next item, which is a business item and a public hearing. Introducing an ordinance amending portions of the municipal code concerning building and fire regulations, presented by Shannon Dow, Director of Community Development.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. This is a very straightforward item tonight. Every 3 years, the California Building Standards Commission makes a number of changes to the California Building Code, and all cities are required to adopt those changes. There are no significant changes in this code cycle update. Everything is relatively minor in nature, such as clarifying requirements for two-way communication in stairwells and elevators. I'm available for any questions, as is our fire marshal and our building official, if you need any clarification or have questions.
Are there any questions from the council?
No. Thank you.
Okay, I will open this public hearing. Are there any requests to speak or written comments?
I didn't receive any, Madam Mayor.
I will close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve.
And I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
Mayor Patino.
Aye. Motion carried. The next will be a report by Dave Rowland, City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and City Council. First of all, I just want to say thank you for your support. Last week while I was not here, I had a family issue to take with back in Ohio. Thank you for your prayers for our family and staff as well for your communications. I want to publicly say that, and probably one of the greatest places to work because of that support, but thank you. I attended the ICMA conference back in Florida, learned a lot about the new use of AI within local government. Also, a new thing that we need to start talking about are drone delivery. They're starting to take a look at that within communities and organizations, economic development ideas, and a number of leadership courses to lead us into the future here within our city. And upcoming on November 18th meeting, a couple items will be a quarterly report from the Chamber of Commerce, the adoption of an ordinance for building code updates, growth mitigation annual compliance report, AB 1600, and then also a finance fourth quarter update of fiscal year 2024-2025. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now proceed with required oral reports from council members who would like to begin.
I will. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Ms. Flores?
I went to the California Housing Law and Policy Update in Sacramento And then I also attended with Congressman Carbajal and Senator Limon in Santa Barbara for updates on the federal programs and government shutdown.
Thank you.
My city council report is Go Dodgers.
Can you go in depth on that one?
They won the World Series for the second
okay.
time, back to back. So that is what I did most of last week, watch the games, and they were very exciting.
Thank you. Councilmember Soto?
I attended the Elected Leaders Forum on Homelessness and Housing on October 17th, and then some city meetings that we were scheduled in for.
Thank you. I attended October 22nd to 24th, the Cal LAFCO conference in San Diego. On the October 25th, attended the Veterans Stand Down at the Fair Park. On the October 26th, I attended the annual Dia de los Muertos Festival at Hancock College. Attended on the 30th, the Budget Ad Hoc Committee. And went to our Rotary Sips and Sombreros for 2025. And Rotary raises money for the youth in our community. So I don't know what the final amount was, but I'm sure it'll be hefty. Mr. Escobedo?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On October Sunday, the 26th, I participated as judge for the Halloween costume contest at the Santa Maria Swap Meet. Congratulations to the winners. Very tough call, but it was fun.
Those Halloween, when you're a judge at a Halloween party, costume, I've done that before. That's tough. That's one of the toughest assignments you can get.
Actually, the winner, the winner, actually, mom, I mean, the kid or mom, they built their own costume. And it was this transformer that actually went down. And
oh my gosh.
It was like, okay, this had to win. They put a lot of effort, a lot of energy. And now I can say that aloud at the moment because I was supposed to be the unbiased. I was biased with that one.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I do want to say thank you to Hancock. I do want to say thank you to Hancock for the Dia de los Muertos event where the city and Hancock collaborated. It was a really great event to attend that, and just the decorations, the altars for Dia de los Muertos was really impressive. I was really impressed by the work the city did with Hancock, and I think it was a great partnership and collaboration, so I did want to say that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I would like to adjourn this meeting in honor of Teresa Machado Rayburn, who passed away on October 18th. Teresa faithfully served our city for 29 years. She was born Teresa Ann Machado, 64 years of age in Santa Maria, in California, passed away peacefully surrounded by family on October 18th, 2025. She was born March 8, 1961, to Frank and Isabel Machado in Santa Maria. Teresa resided in Santa Maria her entire life, where she attended St. Mary's School and Santa Maria High School. She grew up on the Enos Ranch off of Bull Canyon Road, where her father raised cattle and taught her how to live a country lifestyle. Her childhood consisted of bottle feeding calves, gathering eggs, feeding chickens, and riding horseback with her dad across the riverbed just to get to school. Teresa was the baby of the family and basically had two sets of parents, given her that her brother was 16 years older and her sister 11 years older. She graduated from Santa Maria High School in 1979 after 4 years of involvement and accomplishments. Throughout high school, Teresa was a member of the drill team, participating in many parades and games, even earned the USA Drill Team Champions in 1977. She was a member of the Future Business Leaders of America, where she earned several awards in the category of essay and public speaking and attended the state leadership conferences. She served as the FBLA club president and was awarded the most active member. Throughout her high school career, she participated in drama, taking on main character roles and earning outstanding recognition in Thespians 2 years in a row. In 1979, she was a finalist in the Bank of America Achievement Awards program in vocational arts. Also, during her senior year, she earned the Scholastic Achievement and was voted homecoming queen and most irresistible. In fact, I remember being at that game. But she has continued that. She was a member of the Morning Rotary and continued her enthusiasm in serving our community. She worked with me on the Mayor's Youth Task Force, and I could not have done that without her. Been able to get that off the ground. As I said, she worked for the city for 39 years, making such an enduring and positive impact on our community. And Teresa, we love you and we miss you. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.